What is up the Steem blockchain today? I want to talk about empower human genius. And so I want to talk about empower human genius because with all these upvote services or these upvote chains, these graphene chains, Steem especially, I want to talk about how I think what we're doing here is basically empowering human genius instead of having this other system that empowers a company, I guess you can say. Or maybe you could say empower a nation. In the past, it seems like we had a system that was mainly, okay, empower either a nation or empower a company. Now we're coming to this stage in evolution, I would say, where it's going to be all about empowering human genius. And every time I click, let's say, upvote, it basically is like, let's say, a poke. It's a poke to move someone into their genius, into their direction. And it's going to take a lot of pokes to make something come out. But if you poke humans a lot, if you encourage them a lot, because in many ways that is what I see upvotes being as, that upvotes basically encourage people to both come back and that they're really getting value for exactly everything that they do, that there is some form of value in exactly everything that they do. And all of these pokes is eventually going to bring out human genius because it makes humans a little bit more brave every time they have a poke, because then you create this positive feedback loop where a person see, well, what I talk about probably has some value for some people, some person out there, and then they can explore that dimension so much more. So human genius is a very interesting field because it hasn't really been explored that much by humans. Yeah, we've started to explore it a lot the last 100 years. I mean that's really what we can see on all of society, and the main reason why we can starting to explore human genius more now is because we have more free time over, because machines taking over jobs and they're basically freeing up time. And when humans have more time, then they can be a human being, which is just a being. So it's something that, or it's an entity, it's a human that can just be. And when a human is just being, a lot of interesting stuff can come out of that. A lot of intelligence can come out of that, and we have usually, or we have suppressed a lot of this in the past because of fear and scarcity, and this sort of demand for surviving, the struggle for survival, which has been a very, very big aspect of the humans the last thousands of years. So what is going to come out of all of this human genius? Well, the way I see it is, I see that every person has some extreme genius that can flower into so much more potential. So when I look at a person, I can easily see how they can bring 1000x more to society and to themselves. And there's just so much leverage that they can use there that that hasn't been realized, or it hasn't been used in the past because the technology just wasn't there, right? The technology just wasn't there. But now we have this global network, and the next decade, especially the next decade, we will be able to see the magic coming out of empowering human genius. So how can I see this in my own life, how human genius are working? Well, I can see that I have as the months go by, I always have more value that I can share out to other people, and that I can see that well, why would I want to give that to myself when if I just empower some human genius, then that can make a 1000x return. So there's a lot of talk about ROI and a lot of selfishness back to the person, but I always look at it like, well, I can only do so much, right? I can only do so much. The key, the biggest leverage I can have on my value is to empower human genius, is to, let's say I empower a lot of people via upvotes and via value. Let's say you have 100 people and maybe 99 people sort of make stuff mediocre, or 97 people, but 3 of them are really going to become massive genius. And that's like, if every person is 1000x, the compound effect of 3 1000x is just like the ROI there. It's even silly then to start talking about what is the return here on society if 3 people get mega empowered and they become geniuses and they make all of these exponential improvements on society and life and everything. Like it really becomes silly to this ROI discussion then. So we're very early in right now. I mean, we're getting close to 2020, but it's especially going to be between 2020 and 2030. That is going to be a magical decade, because we're getting closer to having access to like limitless energy for such a low cost. And a big thing here that's going to come is I've seen that 5G that's going to come soon, that they're going to launch these sort of satellites. So let's say everyone on the whole world have access to a super fast internet where everyone is just hooked up to the network. Right now, I think it is around 4 billion people that are connected to the internet. But if you hook up 8 billion, or we're not 8 billion yet, but if you hook up all 7 billion people in just the next couple of years with free internet basically and ultra fast speeds, what are those people going to create? Like, what kind of amazing innovation are they going to do? If you empower so many more people that are coming online with a mega fast internet, and you combine that with the intelligence that already exists, and I mean, like, this is really going to create a massive human genius effect with so many more people in the system. So we're for sure gonna come to an abundant stage. I can see it myself in my own life, how things change and stuff like that. So it's going to be the main thing that humans, I think, in the future are going to do. It's not going to be go to a job, do some labor and get some capital. It mainly is going to be about, they get some tokens shared out to them, maybe in an automated system, maybe from some other humans, but then they're going to use those tokens to identify, to curate genius, basically, to identify geniuses that can leverage stuff faster and faster and faster and faster. So I think that topic is very interesting, because the last couple of 100 years, first we had bankers running things, we had the oil and the very industrious people also running things, creating the whole car industry and the railroad industry and all of that. But now we're getting this movement where the geeks, those people that started the computer movement, that they're going to have a larger leading role in this new society, and that they're sort of going to be, in many ways, the new bankers or the new entrepreneurs in many ways. And it's very interesting because the geeks are pretty interesting people, because First of all, they usually don't care that much about value or, like, let's say money. They mainly care about solving problems, which is very good because that is what society is going to need even more. Another thing with geeks is that they like to focus on specialized fields, various fields. So, and then that they can also be very not mega social perhaps, but that they really pay close attention to their favorite fields, and they really have no, like, let's say, massive selfish incentives for world domination, but they really just want to do their geeky little thing because it engages them a lot with life, like it makes them feel more alive, let's say. And I would say in many ways geeks are the true geniuses, and I feel that they are the ones who can basically bring the most leverage to the new world. And in many ways this also has a lot to do with that human interaction. We're gonna interact more with robots and computers to automate more and more tasks. So the geeks comes very much in hand there because it's their special field basically. And my sort of vision is when every geek or very intelligent person is hooked up to the same kind of group, and when they all can basically empower each other with a token or something, and it's connected at a global scale, I think that can really have some interesting effects on society. And a lot of the structures that humans have built in form of nations and regulations and all that, a lot of those structures are very fragile. And of course all of this tech and the geeky stuff with computer code and artificial intelligence, 3D printing, all that is coming, that is usually, or it is very disruptive. And it's something that we've been seeing across history, that we get these disruptive technologies coming in that sort of cause a little bit of maybe a panic or confusion for a couple of years, but then things sort of tend to work themselves out. Of course, we don't know really where artificial intelligence and human genius is going to take us, but it's going to be in those fields that we are going to invest more time and energy into. And I can take an example here, for example, from a YouTube channel to show that we're really moving into abundance. That is that 1 month ago, I just uploaded a 1-minute video just as a test, eating a pizza, and it got 10,000 views, okay? 10,000 views, just me eating a pizza. And I mean, in many ways that shows to me in many cool ways that, yeah, humans have a lot of free time over. Humans have more free time over than they think, and they're usually more intelligent than they think. So if 10,000 people have have time to watch me eat a pizza, it tells me so much that that if you optimize the value that people can get every single second, we're probably gonna see 1000x improvements on society. And who knows what kind of genius that can come out of empowering humans that much. Yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about that in a video. Hopefully you enjoyed STEAM Blockchain. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.